to really directly impact people's life.
I got involved into the law because I wanted to be a prosecutor, oddly enough.
So the community is a bad person because they made a mistake, and I wanted to help them.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Diaz.
And I'm attorney Diaz Gaeta.
Attorney Jessica Combs.
And we are Diaz and Gaeta Law. So we are partners at a mid-sized law firm here in Atlanta. We do immigration law, criminal law, and personal injury and accident cases. So if you've been injured in any way, shape, or form, you can reach out to us. If you've been accused of a crime or arrested, you can reach out to us. And if you have immigration issues, you can reach out to us as well. And those things intersect all the time. And that's why I think we offer a very unique service here at the law firm. So Zach and I are founding partners of the law firm. We opened up the firm back in 2014, in September of 2014.
Forget it.
I'll never forget because Zach was on vacation when we opened up officially in the Dominican Republic. So I'll never forget. That's the only way I remember.
Time to make sure that I had at least a week off. That way I gave him 2 weeks notice. And that's customary.
Technically 2 weeks notice. You gave them a week notice. Those poor people. So the reason why we're doing a podcast, because we're on Instagram, we publish videos, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on most of the social media platforms, and we publish videos about information that we think is important. But we wanted another platform to allow us to have very informal conversations about these things that we do, and for people to get to know us. We generally get along pretty well, and
pretty well.
I would consider
for the most
pretty well. I would consider us creative people, and I think when we have these kind of like open, informal conversations, it does kind of create an environment where we can get creative and really have fun talking about who we are and the things that we, the way we serve the community. So Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well, first of all, I am an attorney here at Diaz and Gaeta. I primarily focus in on personal injury, criminal defense, and I've been in practice now for over 10 years. And I got involved into the law because I wanted to be a prosecutor, oddly enough.
Weird,
dude. Completely different what I do today.
It's not weird to be a prosecutor. I'm just saying, knowing you, that's a bit odd. Yeah.
I kind of had a kind of tunnel view vision of what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be a prosecutor because my mom worked as a victims advocate in Clayton County, Georgia, for quite a number of years. And I was like, I could do this. This looks fun. Putting bad people in jail, right? And I realized, after practicing there for about 6 months, that a lot of these people were just everyday people, right? And they had made a mistake.
You were at the Clayton process.
I was at I worked a little bit at the DA's office working on felonies, and then I started practicing as an attorney at the Solicitor General's office. So handling misdemeanors and DUIs. And what I realized is that back when I wanted to throw people in jail all the time, I was like, wow, these people have kids and they got families, and I kind of got really involved into being the white knight in the shining armor trying to save victims, right? When I realized, I was like, these victims, sometimes started the fights themselves, right? And usually, these toxic relationships they had with their boyfriends and stuff was, it's kind of like goes both ways, right? And so I realized that they wielded a lot of power and could ruin people's careers. And at some point, absolutely. And at some point I realized, I could be doing a lot more help, especially for my community, immigrant community, Latinos as well, by being a defense attorney. So I worked at where I met Gia at a law firm, and we worked there for about, I worked there for about 2 years before I realized I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be defending people, guilt or innocent, it doesn't matter. It's really about justice, right? And how people, have a second chance, So, and I started doing that. And I also picked up personal injury as well, working a little while at another personal injury law firm. And I realized that their insurance companies take advantage of their insureds, and how injuries are, a lot of times you pay all these high premiums, and the insurance companies are just going to, they turn around and give you peanuts based on what your claim is worth,
yeah.
right? And I just realized then and there that, you know, if you can work yourself in a criminal court, you can also do it in a civil context and personal injury as well. So I was able to kind of utilize my skills that I learned being in court all the time to apply in a personal injury setting as well. And we're just fighting the bad guys who are the insurance companies.
And speaking of court, I remember the moment when we decided to work together. That was the moment that I decided that I think it'd be fun to work with you. We were young attorneys. I thought we were pretty inexperienced. And I decided, you know what, let's not do this. I mean, let's go in and they sent us into this thing, but we looked at it positively and we went in. It was a bond hearing. And you represented one of the, I think, defendants, and I represented the other. And
the one with the tattoos all over his neck
yes.
and his head. Yeah.
Mind you, we were
this
young.
This was in a criminal court.
This was in a criminal court. It was a magistrate court. It was, pre-indictment type bond. And we went in there and we started fighting for bond. And you went up there and you got the investigator on the stand and put Swiss cheese size holes all over the guy's case.
This is like less than 30 days.
And this guy looked like a killer. Okay.
He did.
The case was a funny case. And the judge, who at that time was a pretty strict judge, I don't remember exactly who it was.
Court, yeah.
He gave this guy a bond. And I'm sitting there going, this is insane. So Zach was able to get somebody a bond because of his actual performance. And the way that he really, really poked holes in the state's case and their investigation.
That's what he keeps doing.
That's what we do.
That's
what we do. I got an acquittal at jury trial.
Charges.
Yeah. Less than 10 minutes, the jury deliberation after a 2-day trial. So.
That's insane. And that's a very quick deliberation. And it makes you wonder in a case like that, like what was a prosecutor thinking, like not offering something to, if they knew, I mean, did they really have that much faith in that case that they were going to sit there and go do that?
A lot of times it comes from the top when the head solicitor is like, no, we want to try these. These are domestic situations and we got to protect victims. At that point, they got no choice. So the lower, unfortunately, on the totem pole has to try the cases.
They're the ones that have to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So real quickly, I'll talk a little bit about myself.
Yeah, Gio, we want to hear about you.
Yeah,
come on.
I got into the law only because when I was young, I became very political when I was in college, and I started working, with different groups that advocated for immigrants here in the metro area. I started working in every service industry that you can think of. I was in construction, I was in landscaping, I was in restaurants, and I started noticing this massive demographic shift in the area. And I had this beautiful connection because of the language. So I started kind of learning a little bit about how our economy is kind of driven and who drives the economy and the stories of these people that were now enriching our lives by moving to this area. So I became involved in their struggle, but kind of their situation. And then from then on, I started meeting. As I started getting political, I started meeting people, and I started to notice. And this wasn't necessarily in love with the idea of becoming an attorney, but what I noticed was that attorneys were able to really directly impact people's life and actually save a family's life. So once I started seeing that, they were able to sue, they were able to do things. Once I saw that, I decided, you know what, this is what I want to do. So I started working my way to get into some firms. I got some jobs, and then I went off to law school. And when I came back, I started working with the community. And the beautiful thing is I've been able to surround myself with amazing, brilliant people that believe the same things that I believe and that serve the same types of clients. And that's essentially how I started. So Jesse, obviously you're next, but I just want to say Jesse is our first partner that we've brought into the firm. That was a no-brainer. So tell us a little bit about why you got involved with the law.
Kind of opposite of Zach, I guess. I wanted to be a public defender when I went to law school. That was my entire plan.
Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing.
I always thought I enjoyed being with people who were kind of in the worst situation that they've ever been in their life. And, were stressed out, were scared. and who, maybe
Get a little closer to the mic so we can hear you.
and who may be like being looked at by judges or by prosecutors or members of the community as a bad person because they made a mistake, and I wanted to help them in that moment. So
it was completely different than mine.
Yeah, opposite side.
Yeah, but when you realize you see both sides, you're like, wow, it's like yeah.
But I started out doing a bunch of work with public defenders' offices, and then when I got out of law school, I started a job in a firm where I was doing kind of half criminal and half immigration work. I still do a little bit of criminal work as it intersects with immigration, but once I started doing immigration work, I kind of saw that the same skill set was of use there, because a lot of our clients are in like the most difficult, stressful situation that they've ever been in their life, and being able to be there with someone and to really just try your absolute best, do everything you can to try to get them out of that situation is what kind of drives me and what makes me happy. So nowadays I do mostly immigration work. We do lots of removal defense. We also do family petitions and humanitarian petitions, which often involves people who are victims of crimes. Sometimes we're representing people who are also accused of crimes, or people who are escaping a horrific situation in their home country. So really, it's simply put, the opportunity to help people.
And the cool thing is for us is, without getting too into this, right? Our lives were changed we had big impactful change happen last year in November. In January, our world was turned upside down, and changes started coming down from the administration that were negatively impacting our clients' lives. And of course it negatively impacted us because we love our clients and we're mission driven and we believe in this. And the beautiful thing is, and one of the reasons I wanted to have a podcast, and we're going to start talking about some of these cool stories at some point. The cool thing is we've got a group together. Everybody's figuring these things out. As information is coming in, we're getting it, we're analyzing it. I see a lot of my colleagues who are maybe 1-2 attorneys. They're really struggling with meeting. Sometimes we have to shift and prepare motions immediately after a new change happens. We have to shift strategies 2 or 3 times in a case because of the administration's policy changes. But we're able to do that. And I think for the most part, we've met that challenge. There's been a lot of, I think, mental health sacrifice in doing it, right? And it's been really, really tough, but we've done it. And I think one of the cool things is we want to share during this podcast some of these stories of some of the cool things that we've done during this time of crisis. And we view it as a time of crisis. That's why
we're in the trenches. We're in the trenches,
yeah.
Right? We're handling it.
So that's it. Jesse, you might be one of the things that are maybe different than Zach and I. Your legacy. You're not like us. You're not one of the first attorneys in the family that struck out.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
My dad was an attorney. He started off, he did some work at the DA's office in Louisiana, but then he was a private defense attorney. And he had his office like 2 blocks from our house. So I spent a lot of time growing up in his office as a kid. I'd like spend time after school kind of coloring in his law office. So I kind of saw that side of things up close. My dad actually warned me not to be an attorney. And like constantly reminding me that this is not his fault. But yeah, I mean, I really liked what I saw. I had a lot of admiration for my dad, so that certainly played a part in wanting to practice law.
So we would like to tell you to please, if you like this content, and mind you, this is just an intro. So we're going to get into some really interesting stuff in the next few episodes. But if you want to follow us, please follow us. Please subscribe to our podcast. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. We're constantly posting stuff, trying to keep people informed of everything. One of the things, and I don't want to talk about this too much, we'll eventually kind of devote some more time to this, but there's nothing wrong with charging consultations. There really isn't. And I think we had a conversation in the past that we need to maybe move towards that model. But because of the crisis, I think that's happening in the community right now, we've kind of shelved that, and we've decided to stick with the mission of informing the community and helping people out. Because sometimes in a 15-20 minute consultation, we're able to help somebody, make a very, very tough decision when they don't even have to hire an attorney sometimes. But they at least they're informed they're doing the right thing for them.
Doing that on this podcast too, talking about kind of the changes that are happening in the law and how it's affecting our work and our cases and our clients' lives.
Yes, and it's there's a lot to talk about. That's for sure. So yeah, please send us questions. There's an infinite amount of topics. So please send us questions. Oh yeah, my office.
And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. But call us. You can call our office. So if you want one of these consultations, you can call our office. 678-503-2780. We have people answering the phone from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. We can schedule an appointment real quick. We know what's urgent and what's not urgent, so we can get you an appointment real quick. And again, send us those questions. We want to be able to answer questions and kind of get an idea of what people are really worried about out there. So thank you all for watching and listening.
Join us and subscribe to our channel.
And we'll see you next episode.